first of all, before they become a client, we do have a first conversation, which is complementary to just to get to know each other, to understand what the expectations are, where the person is coming from, what's on their mind, and what is the goal they want to achieve. So then we can build a plan together on how we're going to get there. And based on that plan, we determine how many sessions we need. I have heard that multiple times that coaches should offer packages. I honestly don't really believe in that. I don't like to make people subscribe to certain amount of sessions because I know sometimes they don't need all that. And I don't want to squeeze them money out of them. So we determine the amount of sessions that we're going to have on an individual basis when we talk during this first conversation.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, and even $100,000 weeks. Before Purple Circle, I've grown several 7- and 8-figure career coaching businesses myself, and have been a consultant at 2 career coaching businesses that are doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets Podcast. I'm Pedro, and today's guest is Maria Kolesnikoff, founder of Your Way Up Coaching and a leadership coach, career strategist, and systems expert who helps professionals shift from daily firefighting to intentional, sustainable growth. With over 20 years in HR and talent leadership, she combines strategic thinking and evidence-based coaching to help clients gain clarity, build confidence, and create the structure that make progress consistent. Her work helps leaders strengthen presence, design better systems for focus and balance, and align their habits with long-term goals, turning insight into lasting behavior change for both individuals and teams. Welcome to the show, Maria.
Thank you for having me, Pedro. It's nice to be here.
It's great to have you, Maria. All right. I like to rewind a bit. Every coach has that moment where they look at their life and say, you know what? I guess this is what I'm doing now, right? So when was that for you?
Yeah, I had that moment too, and was way back while I was still employed in corporation. I was a head of talent management. Things were not working smoothly for me at the beginning, and I was thinking, okay, I have tried everything in HR. Is there anything I have not? At the same time, I was somebody who would bring coaching to the organization to help executives to improve, and I'm like, I wonder how do they do that? So that seemed to be like a great alternative and a possibility to explore and kind of widen the horizon. So that could be my profession. I did not know then that I will make it in my profession now, but I thought, okay, I'm going to go and learn and explore. And I remember that my first day of training was January 31st, 2015. So, and this is how we, count years in coaching, starting from your first training. And I start learning, start bringing that back to the organization, start working with managers, helping them to create their development plans. And coaching questions were so handy to help them not to stay on the surface, but really go deep into the root cause of whatever is not working for them. So then they can really work on their development. So that's how I started.
That's interesting. I know we were talking before the podcast that you came from Russia, right? So that's about 8 to 9 years that you're in coaching. And one thing that I would like to understand is, when did it shift, from I'm helping people to I'm building a real business around this now?
That was easy. It was easy because so I started coaching in 2015. And then in 2017, I moved to US. And I was so sure that I'm going to find a job because I'm such a great employee. I'm very talented. I'm always overperforming. Well, that did not happen. And I did not have anybody here. I did not have American experience. I did not have American education. Nobody could recommend me. So I thought, okay, if I cannot find the job, I will create one. And I'm still there. So it's like, we're looking for opportunities, but if though we cannot find them, we can also create them. That's what I did. And I never thought I will be an entrepreneurial material, and it turns out I am. It was a good and interesting and inspiring learning about myself that I actually can be creative, I can be risky, I can take risks, I can experiment. And it is so great to work for yourself outside of, some corporate environment sometimes and not have a manager above you. So yeah, that since I started exploring that, since I started building my business, I am actually enjoying that more and more. And it was great to prove myself wrong and expand the horizons and learn that I actually can do that, even though I thought I cannot. So that's the story.
I love the fact that the way you put it, proving yourself wrong. It's like you're tapping into new territory that you weren't even aware that you were capable of. And somewhat that relates to coaching, right? Sometimes you talk to people that are not aware of what's happening. Do you see that happening too often, more than not?
Yeah, I mean, I think coaching clearly is about increasing awareness, which is about seeing what you haven't seen or debunking the limiting beliefs. Because my belief was I am not an entrepreneurial material. I cannot be an entrepreneur. I cannot be a business owner. I'm only good as an employee, and I'm only good as not as a first person in the business, but at least second or whatever. That was my limiting belief. And this is exactly what we're working on in coaching, trying to identify these thoughts and beliefs that actually keep you from moving forward. So, yeah, exactly.
And that makes a lot of sense. The trial and error part that I would like to dive in a little bit now is like, because this resonates with your audience, and it is like this. After you got it rolling, who are the people that kept showing up? I know you mentioned managers, I know you mentioned leaders, but when we start something from scratch, sometimes we see ourselves trying to embrace the entire world, right? So I'm not sure if that happened to you, but what I want to understand is the ones you realize, okay, this is my crew. This is the people that I'm going to help.
Well, quite honestly, focusing on leaders and managers was not the first idea. The first idea was, okay, I have decided I'm going to pursue my coaching career. I'm going to build business. Where do I find clients? Well, luckily for me, I have been in HR for a long time. So that means I have had a lot of connections. So what I did, I actually utilized my own network, just reaching out to people, my colleagues, my co-workers, and offering them to talk to me and see if we're going to be a good fit. And I have had, like, for the first couple of years, I have been doing that and build my hours, practice hours. It built my confidence and built my expertise in coaching. And then after doing that, I sit down and thought, okay, what are the topics that pop up the most? Who are these people who actually need that? And from that information, I was already understanding, okay, so the most common questions people come to me with would be career and leadership development. And this is how I started, evolving and leaning towards that. But it wasn't clear at the beginning. I had to really, as you said, trial and error, see what's there.
Right. I know that makes a lot of sense, because you're the first step is get in touch with people that know, like, and trust you, right? So you're not building that super, like, how could I say it? That super big plan of how I'm going to reach leads this way, and I'm going to do this and that and use AI. No, you're just like, hey, pretty simple, right? Let's try to talk to people that I already know. So sometimes we lose track of simplicity. I'm not sure if you agree with that, but that just struck with me.
I mean, they say all genius things are simple. So, I mean, the more complex it is, the harder it is to run with that. And I guess I did not know what niche I would want to work on. I did not know what's in demand. So it was really trial and error. And we did not have AI back then. It was 2017, 18. It was before AI. So that was the way to go. What I also learned is clearly, in coaching, what we offer the personality. We offer who we are, and we offer a belief that we can help solve the problem because we have been there. And this is because we're relatable to people. And for that, they need to know you somehow. And this is why it's really, I don't even know if coaches can really use the cold leads to land
Mm-hmm.
coaching. It's usually the reference, getting in touch, knowing who you are, resonating, and then the coaching relationship works. So, and the easiest way to get things rolling was to talk to people who already knew me, right? Knew who I am, knew me as an expert, a professional, hopefully a nice person too. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that also helped me to build my own professional confidence that I'm able to deliver, like I'm able to create a value. So then I can go and like expand my visibility and get to
Mm-hmm.
know new people because I have a proven experience of helping people and seeing how they have progressed, how they have grown. That builds my confidence to then go and show up and be in the podcast like yours, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Does that answer
Okay.
your question?
No, it does answer. It does answer. My follow-up question would be, okay, we know who Maria helps, right? She attempted to know, like, and trust the people in her inner circle, and that started to expand, right? So I want to talk about something. It's a little bit of a shift, but it's like, marketing. How do people usually find you? We already got dialed in leaders, managers, but how do they find you now?
Social media would be the first way to say find me. So I'm currently staying pretty active. I consistently create content. I post. I have a few workshops that I'm promoting right now, and I'm writing about that. But I also do networking. So I meet with people in person because the personal connection is always the best way. Because what I have learned is that people more inclined to work with me when they know me personally.
Mm,
And another thing that I'm doing, I am getting more involved with the professional community too. I'm giving back to professional community. I'm engaging with several associations that are in HR industry, specifically talent development, because this is where my heart is. Even though I am a coach, I'm still very passionate about talent development and talent management. So that's another way for me to get involved. I do have mentees that I work with to help them to find their careers or find how they're going to build their business. So all of that is about getting out really and getting people to see you and see what you're doing and what you're offering and have a conversation too.
okay. That makes sense. All right. I want to talk business for a second.
Okay.
So people find you. They
Mm-hmm.
resonate with your work through
Mm-hmm.
the workshop, in person, you name it. And eventually they want to know what working with you actually looks like. So everyone builds their coaching business a bit differently. So when someone actually becomes a client, Maria, what does that experience look like right now?
When somebody becomes a client, well, first of all, before they become a client, we do have a first conversation, which is complementary to just to get to know each other, to understand what the expectations are, where the person is coming from, what's on their mind, and what is the goal they want to achieve. So then we can build a plan together on how we're going to get there. And based on that plan, we determine how many sessions we need. I know I have heard that multiple times that coaches should offer packages. I honestly don't really believe in that. I don't like to make people subscribe to certain amount of sessions because I know sometimes they don't need all that and I don't want to squeeze them money out of them. So we determine the amount of sessions that we're going to have on an individual basis when we talk during this first conversation. So it could be one session, it could be two, it could be three, depending on what they want. But I always allow and encourage people to decide if they need more or not. So I'm like coach a la carte, so to say. So
Mm-hmm.
and so we set the goal, we agree on the plan, and then we just work on that plan as long as they need me. Because, there is another thing that we say. The goal in coaching is to actually fire your coach, not because the coach is lousy, but because you don't need them anymore. because you feel self-sufficient to address whatever you need to solve on your own.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, and if they want to fire me after
Mm.
2 seconds, sorry, after 2 sessions, I'm okay with that.
Well, you almost killed me with the after 2 seconds. But yeah, I, I like that. I mean, but at the same time,
Mhm,
your work seems pretty hands-on, right? You're having the sessions after sessions. So how do you
mhm.
think about capacity? So you don't stretch yourself too thin.
That's a great question, and this is where the idea of workshops is coming from, because individual coaching is relatively expensive, and sometimes people just don't know what they don't know. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes coaching is not what they need, even. Before they need coaching, they need to learn what they don't know. So then they can start thinking and digging deeper into how to improve. So having a group sessions with people where you explain what it should look like first. So people then can
Mm-hmm.
have an assessment about, okay, this is what it should look like. This is where I am. This is the obvious gap. And how do I cover that? That we can discuss in coaching. But sometimes, and I also share resources and tools and approaches that people can apply on their own. So the idea is not to make people dependent on that, but
Mm-hmm.
to be resourceful and having all the tools and resources for them to figure out on their own. But if they need to go deeper, if they need to explore more, if they need to work on like a core or a value level, then that would be the coaching case. So we start with just learning. We start with this is what it should look like. And then you can decide, do you want to go deeper? Then it is to, then welcome to coaching. If you feel it is enough for you, it is enough. Because, it may sound controversial, but not everybody needs coaching,
Mm-hmm.
even though we would like to have as many clients as possible, but not everybody needs coaching, and that's okay. That's okay.
That's interesting. I mean, that's an interesting intake about structure. The fact that you're moving towards sort of a group coaching, right? So
Mhm.
it can impact more people, make it more affordable. That's interesting. Now, I'm curious about where you're taking all this. Looking ahead, future. Where do you see the business going? Are you thinking about scaling, hiring, or is there a next step you're excited about?
Well, yeah. I mean, my next step is having all these products that I'm developing and creating and also offer them in the corporate format. So the idea is I want to have those things available to people if they need that. I want to have them available in online version where we can be interactive and we can talk and discuss and ask questions. I want that to be available in a synchronous way, as if these courses are available on platforms like Coursera or LinkedIn, but also do that for corporate and kind of fine tune that for the specific corporate needs. If there is anything specific they want to solve, really have that. I don't know. I don't think it's a funnel, but rather than an ecosystem where everybody can have their own place and space and have their needs met. I think,
Mm.
and also with corporate, there's people more inclined to go through training or through development program if it is paid by their company, right? So then it makes it even more available for them. So why not give them that opportunity? We all about opportunities, right?
So, that's interesting. The corporate training and the group training, that's something towards the future, right? And the corporate training, I think especially that one, whenever we're aiming toward the next chapter, there's always something that we're refining in the present, right?
Hmm.
So I'm not sure if we're talking about the corporate training or the group training or whatever you're looking for, but what are you currently trying to improve or tighten up in your business right now?
Can I just do one step back? Because what I want,
Absolutely. Please
yeah,
do.
because what I believe in is not just training. And
Mm,
what you have read in my bio and what I do is I believe in systems. And I believe that training is not enough. I believe that just training does not create a sustainable behavior change. So ideally, you want to have a system that supports that behavior change, that includes coaching, mentoring, peer circles where people are coming together and they support each other, they speak the same language, and where their managers are also supporting them, providing them feedback, and allowing them to have the trial and error, because this skill is not built just by hearing about it. It is being by practicing, and that takes time, and that needs the support. So ideally, that's what I'm talking about. And this is what I want to bring, whether it's on organizational level or it is on the individual level. Just hearing about that is not enough. So some people can have and improve on their own. Some people can have that support through coaching, through mentoring, and this is what I'm offering. And if you go back to your next question, like what I'm trying to improve right now is that I'm working on building that kind of visibility around that concept. So just hearing about something is not enough. It's about practicing and improving and assessing and having these trial and errors. And that's okay to have errors too. It just makes us stronger. We should not be afraid of failures. We should use them as
Yeah,
an
no,
opportunity.
I love that. Right. I love that. The fact that even if you corrected me, with the training part, is like you're aiming towards transformational change, right?
Yes.
So when we're talking about training, I'm not saying that was my goal, but it sounds like we're talking about surface level change. And that's not exactly what you're trying to do here, right?
Yeah.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you for correcting me on that. You're on point here.
Okay. Thank you.
So I got no worries. No worries. We're just talking, just trying to understand. Okay, that makes sense. If you're aiming towards the next chapter, the corporate, I'm not going to call it training, the corporate transformation and the group transformation. Is transformation good? Can we use that?
We can use that. Or sustainable change or behavior change.
Sustainable change. Okay, sustainable change. We're going with sustainable change. I like that.
Okay.
If you're aiming towards that, it's more than natural that you would like to put the word out there, right? Because that's exactly what you're trying to accomplish. So that makes a lot of sense. So Maria, I want to switch gears for a second and do something a bit more fun. Not that this was not fun. It's just, if you're down for it, I got a quick game for you. You're down for it?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We'll look at this through the lens of business investments. Okay. Things like coaching, training, marketing, team, masterminds, you name it, So it's pretty simple. And I like to trial and error and that you're so upfront about it, so honest. So I'll give you 4 prompts and you tell me the first thing that comes to mind. If there's a story behind it, even better. Okay. So the first business investment you remember making?
Paying for my training so I can get certification with ICF. It was a pretty extensive. But when I decided that I'm going to become a coach, I explored and researched the market and realized that just coach is not enough. You need to be certified. But in order to get that certification, that's a lot of training hours and mentoring hours and practice hours. So I had to make that investment, which I'm really happy about.
And what's the most recent one you made?
Well, right now I'm investing in, here's the thing. Somebody told me that before, and I really believe it's very important. And that is, you should thrive on your strengths and outsource your weaknesses. So basically do what you do the best and let others take care of the rest. So there are certain things I do great and I thrive in that. And there are certain things I'm just not good at. So, but we need to have the whole package to be able to promote and deliver and market. So my investment right now is that as I'm building my products, I'm investing into everything I don't do to help me build that, like visuals, like PDF files, like landing pages, I'm not very good at that. And I know I'm just going to spend a lot of time. I'm going to be disappointed with the outcome. And I'm going to not use that time for coaching, which I'm doing best. So, and this is my approach to business from the get-go. Focus on what you do the best and hire people to help you outsource things, because you're going to save time and you're going to be happy with the outcome. And it will come together easier and faster comparing to doing everything on your own. And I know that a lot of coaches, when they start, right, they're trying to be a jack of all trades, right? Do everything on their own. And this is hard. So I think we should focus on doing what we do the best. And that's an investment. That's an investment to hire people to support you. The investment, you need to invest money to earn money, right? So that's the way to move. And this is what I would really recommend to anybody. Think about what you can delegate and outsource. So you focus on things that you're doing.
That makes sense. Perfect sense. So, best financial business investment you have made and why?
Best financial. Well, really, I don't know. I guess whatever I can invest in my business and then have a revenue coming in flowing my way, that would be. But I don't have like a specific investment, like I bought a property or something. So I don't have that example, unfortunately. But hopefully, I will one day. So this is still something to come.
Okay. So last one. What's one investment you wish you could get your money back?
Okay. Well, you know what? I think I'm not very risk adverse. So I have been taking risks before too. And that was a long time ago. My former coworker had a business with her husband, and I happened to have some extra money. So she convinced me to invest in their company so they can ramp up their operations. And I worked with her for a couple of years. So I thought I knew the best, but I give them the money and then they ghosted me. So I was like, okay, I wouldn't say don't trust people, but I'd say you should be more diligent in understanding who these people are before you trust them with your money. So I guess that would be the lesson here.
Okay. About the lessons, and looking back at those, how has your approach to investing in the business changed over the years, if it has?
I think I guess I was trying to do things a little bit on my own. I realized it's not working. So I decided that I'm going to spend more money, or not more money, but I'm going to invest money into building my business. And I'm not going to try to build a business without any investment. Again, you need to put money in so they start working. And this is like, I think I read that, that there is a book by Randy Gage. It says, why are we unhappy, poor, and something else, and how to become happy and rich, and something else. So one of the advices there was, don't sit on money, invest that, let it flow. So when it moves, it goes and comes. There is that, you have to create that flow or the current of money. They should not just sit there. So I'm trying to do that, make them move, spend and earn, not just sit there and just save, and that's it.
I love that. It's like energy, right? It's like passing on to other hands. No, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, Maria. And if someone listening wants to connect with you or follow your work, where can people find you and connect with you?
People can find me on LinkedIn, which would be really my first and last name. I don't think there is another Maria Kolesnikoff on LinkedIn.
The one and only.
Yeah, but also I have my website, which is called yourwayup.coach, or they can email me at maria@yourwayup.coach. And I actually pulled up the name of the book that I was talking about, and it's called Why You Dumb, Sick, and Broke, and How to Get Smart, Healthy, and Rich. By the way, I do recommend this book. It's fun read, but it does have some good advices on including money and including building your business and, taking opportunities. So that would be.
Yeah, I'm going to write that down. And for everyone listening, I hope they do too. So let's check that out.
Awesome.
And, there were a few things you shared today that really stuck with me. I'm going to point them out. Okay. And like proving yourself wrong. I love that, like that inner entrepreneur that you had, that you, not even you believe that it was there. So it's about practicing what we preach, right? You inspired yourself. And you've been there and done that for your clients through your own path. So I think that's really powerful. I want to point that out.
Can I add a little bit here? I'm sorry.
Of course.
Because I think it is similar to any manager too, or even any parent. It's like, you don't ask people to do things that you don't do. that makes you a hypocrite. And that's the last thing I want to be. So if I challenge people, if I challenge them to make a change in their life, I need to hold myself to that standard too. So, and this is where I'm always coming from. And sometimes I'm ahead of the game and I have been there. But sometimes if I'm still hesitating, but I'm challenging my clients to do that, then that motivates me to also step up and do these things that I have been hesitating to do. So it's kind of, this is how it works. Really, it's a two-way street. So I don't come across or I don't want to come across as if I know it all. I don't. And I'm learning together with my clients. And as we work together, that also inspires me to create things. Like a lot of things that I'm putting into my workshops, they are coming from my work with clients from, okay, you don't know what job you want. Let me come up with a worksheet of how can you get clarity in what your dream job is. You don't know how to find how to pivot in your career. Well, let me come up with a guide on how to help you to pivot in your career. How do you really understand what is your dream job? What are the transferable skills? How you can tell the story about that. That type of things. I'm sorry I interrupted you though.
No, you didn't. That's great. I mean, it also makes a lot of sense about also the fact that you were so honest about the trial and error. It's like you're really doing this. It's not like you're playing an act. It happened to you. You're going through it, and it doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you're going through the same sustainable change, your wars that they are. So that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
And I had a father. I have a father. He's still alive, thank God. But what I
God.
meant is he's a teacher. He was a teacher. He's in his 70s now. So he always told me I learn a lot from the students, and they don't even know it. They're not even aware of it. So that makes a lot of sense, with what you just said. And there's also the fact that you corrected me. I love that because when I said training, and like you said it yourself on the podcast, sometimes we're not even aware of it. I would just throw it out there, training, and you're like, hey, wait a minute. And that makes sense, from training to sustainable change, because we're talking about not surface level change. We're talking about transformational change. So that I love the fact that you corrected me, because even at this podcast, we're proving your theory, right? We're changing through the podcast. You're telling me something, I'm learning something new.
Okay.
So I appreciate you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
I appreciate what you do. And you being here and sharing so openly today. It was great having you, Maria.
Thank you so much, Pedro.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This podcast was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, or even $100,000 weeks, all without burning out and making sure that you're making the impact and having the life that you want. To learn more about our community and how we can help you, visit joinpurplecircle.com.